take a walk on the woo-woo side with me. My name is Michelle Douglas and I am on a mission to help you to step into your power so that you can create the life you desire. Visit me at empoweredlifeprograms.com to learn more. Hello, and it's Wacky Wednesday. And while today's topic isn't overly wacky, it will probably give you some insight, and some of you may be able to relate to what I'm about to share with you as well, about why so many relationships break down. So in my first marriage in particular, I was very much in my masculine. Go figure. Now, when we go into our masculine, it's often because we are in a place of insecurity. It's often from insecurity, not always. And a lot of us learn from our mothers. Now, my mother was not in her masculine, but I ended up there out of insecurity because I was very insecure. I met him when I was in quite a bad place emotionally and mentally. Like, I couldn't get work because I was too old at 19. And my skin color wasn't dark enough, so there were no jobs going for someone like me. Go figure. Anyway, I could do a whole other story on that one. Anyway, so he met me where I was at, and vibrationally, I attracted him. Now, deep down, there was a little voice going, nah, no, don't think so. Don't think he's it. But anyway, I stayed. And what actually happened was, I became the planner, the doer, the giver. I was taking care of him. I was doing things for him. Which meant I was basically in the masculine role. Now, in a relationship, you have to have polarity. That means masculine, feminine. Now, it doesn't mean one party has to be in the masculine all the time or in the feminine all the time. It's a bit of a dance, because sometimes, even now, sometimes I can be the girl, other times I need to be the boy, because I need to do stuff. Sometimes I need to get stuff done, and I do like cooking dinner for my husband, and even that doing and giving is masculine. But he will temporarily go into the feminine. Next minute he's out building me something. So there's a good balance there, right? So bottom line is, I was the doer, I was the planner, I was the giver. I was not the receiver. I was not in the feminine. I was not in that leaned back receiving mode, because I, on some level, probably didn't think I deserved to be given to or cared for or cherished or anything like that. We fast forward into my second marriage, and I obviously hadn't learned my lesson, and I went into the masculine again. It was like one of those, I don't know about you, but I know a lot of women are like, if I don't get things done around the house, I just won't get done. And here's your problem. When you go and start doing this stuff and picking up after them when they're big and ugly enough to do that themselves, you're in your masculine again. And over time, there's resentment that gets built up as well. And it's really frustrating place to be. But, in my second marriage, there was no butting heads at all. He liked avoiding arguments as much as I did, because I'd had 9 years of constant yelling and arguments, right? Didn't want that anymore. So I went from one extreme to the other, where he went into the feminine and allowed me, and it was, hey, my doing. I was the one doing the stuff. I was the one working the long hours and being the breadwinner. Like, he earned his money, and I actually wrote his job applications. So I took care of him quite well. But what does that do romantically to a relationship when it's like that? It was like I was being his mother. Like, what decent kind of man would want his mother to be his wife? Anyway, but I was basically mothering him. And if that's not going to turn a guy off, I don't know anything that will. Okay. So very much in my masculine again. So what happened then is, so I left that marriage as well, because neither of us were happy. And I was the one with the big enough balls to end it. And that's when I realized, I thought, because I was so ashamed of having 2 divorces or 2 broken down marriages, because I wasn't divorced straight away. 2 marriages done, and common element was me. And don't get me wrong, both of my exes were not innocent in this process. There was, they did the wrong thing by me. But at the same time, I wasn't inspiring anyone to do the right thing by me because I was trying to do their job for them. So very much in my masculine. So I started doing research and thought, okay, why have I got 2 failed marriages under my belt? And I came across a lady, a relationship coach, who talked about and explained the masculine feminine dynamic. And I read her book, and I just went, oh my God, I could see me in everything, in the, you need to be an example of what not to do. That was me. I was doing everything wrong. I was turning men off left, right, and center. I was being their mother or the other male in the relationship. And that was never going to work ever. So anyway, I was starting to see someone at the time, and I started practicing. And this is really interesting. So one night I was going to put something in the slow cooker the following day for dinner that night. And I said to the guy I was seeing, I said, oh, I've got to get that stuff ready for the slow cooker. And he said to me, no, I'll do it in the morning after you go to work. Don't worry about it. Oh, okay. Anyway, so I went off to work the next morning, and I was so tempted to remind him, don't forget to do the chicken in the slow cooker sort of thing. But I remembered what I'd been learning from this coach, and I'm like, no, don't say anything. Because here's the thing. What if he didn't put the chicken in the slow cooker? What is the worst thing that would have happened if he had not done that? Okay, we wouldn't have had chicken for dinner. We would have got takeaway. We would have cooked something else. It wouldn't have been the end of the world. So that's how I got myself to a point of, you know what? I'm just going to let it go and not bring it up, not say anything. So I really had to let go of control, because old me was like, I've got to check and make sure he did it. But I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. Anyway, fast forward to the end of the day, I get home, I open the front door, and I smell cooking chicken. So he had done it. So and it's really funny with that particular relationship, like it was never going to work. But it was like, if you're going to do anything stupid in your life, get it over and done with as early as possible. And that was probably one of the things. But I learned a hell of a lot from that situation and that relationship that actually taught me how to be the feminine part of the relationship. And so when I eventually moved on from him, I re-entered the dating world again. I think I only hung on to him so I wouldn't have to date again. But anyway, so I started putting myself out there again and remembering everything I'd learned from this coach about leaning back, being in the feminine, being the receiver. And, whenever anyone gives to me, whether it be male or female, you've got to make sure you're showing that appreciation for what they've done for you, because I know when I give, if I'm receiving appreciation back, it feels good, right? Because I don't give to receive the appreciation, but it is nice to receive. So it's really, really a big thing for me was changing from this controlling, insecure woman that needed to take care of everyone to a woman that knew her value. And it took me a long time to get there. I knew my value. And as a result of that, like, I would be dating someone and they'd be bringing me gifts and flowers. And at first I was really uncomfortable with that, because I'd never received this sort of attention from anyone ever. And what happened was that my confidence got higher and higher and higher. And by the time I met Laurie, I was living a wonderful life. I was completely happy. I was secure in who I was. I was well and truly in my feminine. And, and that's another thing that Laurie mentioned to me shortly after we started dating, is he had to go away for a weekend, and he was surprised that I wasn't blowing up his phone with constant text messages. And I went, well, no, you were having fun with your friends, because he had a friend's birthday party. He goes, you were just having fun with your friends. Why would I want to keep interrupting that? And he just went, whoa, because his ex was so controlling and in her masculine. And she was constantly, what are you doing? Who are you with? What are you, because she was so insecure. So, yeah. So if any of this information or content is resonating with you, check out the Manifest Love program. So it's basically a freebie. It's I think it's got 4 little videos in it, and plus a couple of bonuses as well partway through that particular. It's like a little mini course. So if you head over to empoweredlifeprograms.com/manifest, sign up for the course. And I'd love to hear what you think of that, because if you're really in a place at the moment where you're not seeing, I guess, you're not feeling confident about what's happening in your future, you might be single and alone and think you won't meet anyone, or you might be in a relationship that's rocky, but you're not sure what to do, then this course will definitely help you a lot. Because what we actually do is we go through the unconscious patterns that are keeping good quality men away. So those unconscious patterns include being in your masculine. And there could be some past life trauma linked to this as well, as not necessarily current life. You'll find out why you keep attracting the wrong men, and you'll be surprised. Why your current relationship, if you're in one, is in tatters. We'll look at how to stop attracting what you don't want. And we'll also we'll talk about how to start attracting what you do want. So have a look at that, and I hope to see you over there.